and we are patiently waiting for the one and only John Oates.
John Oates. Oh, you know what? I forgot to post it everywhere and be like, I mean, I posted everywhere all day today, but I like to remind people and say, hey, 10 minutes to John Oates,
50 million records. 50 million.
Wow, it's inconceivable.
That's crazy numbers.
Did you see that because I was like, God, how many Grammys did they win? Because every time you watch the Grammys, you see like Billie Eilish won 50 Grammys and everyone has like these just their hands full of Grammys. Nominated 4 times. They've never won a Grammy. Think about that. They're in they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and they've never won a Grammy. And there's a whole thing going on right now that the Grammys are rigged and they're just total BS. And I go, are they? And then I hear the Hall & Oates have never won a Grammy. And it's like, oh, yeah, they have to be rigged. There's no way that Hall & Oates don't have walls full of Grammys.
No, I think he's got some. I mean, are you sure about that?
I looked on the Wikipedia page. It's pretty accurate.
Oh.
Yeah, and I Googled it. They've been nominated 4 times, but they haven't won.
Man Eater. See, they hated videos. Just any video, because if you think about it, they were around one of the first bands to put their face and music together. Before that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you really didn't know what they looked like. Then videos came out, and they were right there. I mean, they were, on the cusp of videos. So Maneater, even though they hated videos, Maneater right now has 153 million views.
Whoa. Imagine that. Like, you can't even conceive of something like that when that song was written. How old is that song? When was that written?
Yeah, that had to be the
80s, 90s?
Yeah, but it's only been 80s. On YouTube for 11 years. 153 million. I Can't Go for that. 57 million. Just how do you even conceive that? Private Eyes, 20 million views.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
For something that they fought the record company on because they didn't want to do it.
They didn't want to do videos.
You're right.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to do videos either.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you the difference. We've talked about this before. When they were making music, it was about making music. And it was like fame was a byproduct of their talent. It wasn't the opposite. It was people didn't get into music back then to be famous. They got into music because they wanted to be musicians.
Right.
We're already talking about you, John. Hi. All right,
I heard musicians and I just immediately appeared.
That's right. We were talking about you, of course. Yeah, we were saying before. I'll do your introduction in a second, but I was saying that when you were making music, it was about people who had something to say and they made music, and fame was the byproduct. And now we have people that just want to be famous. So it's like, can you sing? Not really. Here's auto-tune. Awesome.
Yes. Well, I'm happy to talk about that subject. It's a pet peeve of mine.
All right, good. So let me do the full introduction because you have a couple of really very exciting things going on. All right, we've had some amazing musical guests on our show. This might be the first Rock and Roll Hall of Famer I think we've ever had, Anthony. He is here to tell us all about Oates Songfest 7908. 100% of the proceeds are donated to Feeding America, which is super important. We'll talk about that also. He is the better half, in my opinion, of Hall & Oates. Please welcome John Oates to the show. Hi, John.
Oh, yeah, you know how to flatter a guy, huh?
Okay. All right, so before we get into the things that piss us all off about the music industry, just give us a little background on Oates Fest, how it came about, what's 7908?
All good questions. Well, and I have the answers. About in 2013, we had a show in Aspen, Colorado called the Aspen Songwriters Festival 7908. And the reason we called it 7908 is because that's actually the altitude of Aspen, Colorado. And we couldn't come up with a name. And as we drove into town one day, it was on the little sign that as you enter town, it says Aspen, Colorado, elevation 7908. And my wife, Amy, said, what a great name. Let's just call it 7908. And so we used it with the current virtual festival because we just wanted to kind of honor the origins of where this whole thing came from.
I'm glad you said that, because my mother was like, maybe he's Jewish and 7908 is the Jewish New Year.
It's not that deep, I don't think.
No, I guess not.
No.
Yeah. That, yours is a much better explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Methuselah. Yeah, we go way back. But anyway, so that's funny.
It's true.
We had just got our place in Nashville around 2010, and I had been doing a lot of shows at the famous Bluebird Cafe, Songwriters in the Round. And I thought, what a great concept to bring a show like that to Aspen, Colorado, because they had never seen anything like that. And we did it for 2 or 3 years, had a really great time. It fell by the wayside. And then this past summer, we were out there again, and we ran into the mayor of Aspen, who happened to be one of my roadies.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's a small town, you know.
Yeah.
Who wasn't your roadie?
Oh, well, you know, okay.
I think everybody has been your roadie at one time.
Really? Hey, you know what? That would make a good T-shirt. Everybody's been my roadie. Well, we're getting off to a good start here, I can tell. But anyway, he said, hey, would you ever consider, you know, reviving it? And this was over the summer, last summer. And we went, wow, what a great idea. We'd love to. But as the year progressed and COVID continued to stay in place, we realized that doing a live show was going to be impossible. So Amy and I said, well, maybe we can do a virtual version. That's when that started. We then thought to ourselves, you know, we need to have a charitable component. We felt like we needed to do something more, and we didn't know what to do. And we said, let's combine what we love to do, music, songwriting, with, you know, something good for the world, hopefully. And that's when we partnered with feedingamerica.org. And that's when we kept 7908. And people they ask the same question. I always go, well, what's Bonnaroo and Lollapalooza mean?
Right.
You know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So it's just been with us for a while, and we thought we'd keep it.
And who was your first phone call? Like, without the musicians, who was your first phone call that you were like, you have to do this concert with me?
Well, believe it or not, it was to some of the people who actually did the original Aspen Songwriters Festival back in 2013. Kev Moe, Sean Colvin, Matt Nathanson, called Donovan Frankenreiter, who's a really good buddy of mine, but he wasn't available, unfortunately. And that's really, we got, and then of course I called Daryl, that would be Daryl Hall.
Right, I heard of him.
You know, the guy who wrote Rich Girl.
Yes.
That guy. And once, you know, and like so many of these events, it's always that thing that the managers and or the artists might say, well, who else is doing it? You know, that's always their first question.
Right.
And once you have a
like, you're not enough. Hello, I'm John Oates.
No, I'm not enough.
I
have
Sarah Smile money.
Let's put it this way. Since I'm and Oates, I guess I'm almost enough.
You're still 50 million records. It's still a huge number.
So anyway, yeah, you know what? This is way funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Thank you.
No, it's excellent. I thought maybe on Friday night, everybody be kind of like, you know, we're chilling. It's Friday night, you know. But anyway.
This is us.
So Daryl signed on. And, you know, Daryl and I had a great, interesting conversation. You know, he said, well, what do you want to do? What's going on? I said, you look, man, this is a chance for us, both of us individually, to do something that's not our big hits. Every time we play together, it's always about the big hits. And, you know, thank you, Lord, we've got them and everybody's happy. But I said, you know, do one of your solo songs, man. I said, because I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something. And so he was all pumped about that. And so he did a really great version of a song that he did a few years back called I'm in a Philly Mood, which is one of my favorite solo songs that he's done. So, and so it goes, you know, reached out to Lyle Lovett. You know, he signed on. Bob Weir's a buddy of mine. We played together, did some, you know, shows together. He said he was jumping on board. I called Jim James from My Morning Jacket, who he and I jammed with the band, and we also curated the Bonnaroo Super Jam in 2013.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, there's a lot of synergy here. I think pretty much everyone on the show is someone that I either know really well or have played with, and usually both. So it's really been great. Of course, we have some new artists and some younger artists who I don't know that well, but we really wanted to have the diversity of genre, musical styles, age, all sorts of things. We wanted to make it a really entertaining show. And to that, we got a guy named Sasquatch.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
No. Help us
Well,
here.
He's Bigfoot.
He's a 7-foot Sasquatch who plays the saxophone.
For real?
Wow.
For real.
Yes. Was he in the Screaming Trees? Those guys were enormous.
No. I don't believe he was. He could have been, but I don't believe he was.
I've never seen taller people in my entire life. That was bizarre.
Well,
I spoke to like 4 belly buttons. We interviewed them. It was just belly buttons. But that's cool. Wow.
There's another joke there, but I'm not going to go there.
We both thought it, and it's actually true. How do you think she got where she's at?
That's right.
So at any rate, you will look up Sasquatch when this conversation is finished.
I will.
You will become obsessed and know that he is our co-host. And my wife, Amy, found him on Instagram, and we love him. And he and I actually have done a new single and a video that's going to be debuted on the show. We did an EDM version of Maneater.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
And so we're breaking it out to the world. We're unleashing it on the world during the show. And Sasquatch is fantastic. We've got all kinds of plans. We're releasing the single on the day before, March 19th. Monster Cat, the EDM label, is releasing it for us.
Wow.
So,
nice.
So all kinds of cool things have been happening, and there's a lot of energy and a lot of good vibes with this show.
And it's March 20th, which is next Saturday night. It's free. It's a live stream on Nugs TV at 8 p.m.
Yep.
And then I heard you wrote an original song that you're going to be premiering during the show as well.
I got so pumped about all as various artists started sending in their performances. You know what was really cool about this is that I wasn't sure how it was going to all work out, but as it began to take shape, no one phoned it in. And it would have been really easy for a lot of big stars to just go, yeah, I've got this video I did. Yeah, sure.
Right.
But no, a lot of them went out of their way to do an original thing. I mean, some of them, of course, played, some of their big hits, like Michael McDonald did Sweet Freedom. Darius Rucker played Wagon Wheel.
Wow. That's cool.
So they're playing like really cool songs, but everyone really went out of their way to do something creative and really awesome. And so when I saw all that, I said, oh shit, I better step up now.
Sasquatch isn't enough. You better write something new.
The EDM version of Maneater is not enough.
Yeah, right.
So I did write a song, and since it's my show, I've made it the closing song. I figured, but it's actually a song called Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, and it was inspired by the great blues duo Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, who had a very contentious relationship. They were together for 40 years. And, I could see a lot in them. Not that I have any, issues with Daryl, because we're actually really good friends, but just the dynamic of a duo is a very interesting concept. Everyone's always kind of fascinated by it. But at the same time, they needed each other. And I thought that's a great metaphor for the fact that the world needs Feeding America. The world needs some kindness and that's what hopefully this show will bring about.
I like that you chose Feeding America, because who can argue with that? It's not it's not political. It's not something that's going to tick anyone off. It's something that everybody can get behind, so I think that was a really good choice.
And also we really vetted them because we didn't know, we had contributed to Feeding America personally over the last 2 years, but I didn't realize how bad the food shortage and the actual food insecurity issue, with 1 in 10 families not being able to put food on the table, and millions and millions, and it's actually getting worse. Feeding America is such a great organization. They over 98% of the money that is generated goes directly to the food banks.
Oh, that's great.
And administrative costs, which for a charitable organization is that's really incredible. So we were very, pleased when they wanted to be partners with us, and it's a match made in heaven, and we're just happy that we can hopefully generate some great awareness and some money for them.
No, and I want to encourage people not just to watch you because the concert's great, but Feeding America, the thing about food insecurity, it's happening right in your backyard. It's not like over there somewhere
Mhm.
else in some state nowhere near you.
Yes.
I've read the statistics lately just in New York and New Jersey. I live in the tri-state area. I was shocked at how much of that type of food insecurity is literally right out of my window.
Yes.
And that's what Feeding America is working on doing, and they're totally legit. I wrote a book about some of the places that are not legit. They are 100% legit, so I'm really glad that's who you chose.
Yeah, we're very conscious of that. When we put this together, and the whole team that we put together, the Drive Entertainment Group with Raquel Bruno, Michelle Welch, who are people I know from back in the MTV VH1 days, believe it or not. And then of course we've got your buddy Rebecca Brooks.
Right,
Um,
she's
Mhm.
awesome. I'm really glad that you're working with her. She's really terrific.
she's so good, and her team is just amazing. It's kind of interesting too for me because everyone on our team is female.
Really?
Really?
Oh, how woke of you.
Don't get too excited. I haven't gone there yet. Um, but but I'm the only guy in this whole thing. Every time we do a Zoom call, it's getting to be kind of comical at this point. But I have to
Right.
say, I to be honest, and I know this might be a weird statement, but I have actually never worked with females in any really personal in the trenches kind of capacity.
Mhm.
Over the years. And boy,
Well, you've been in the music business. There are no women that are making
well,
decisions
it's true,
in your
especially in the old
industry.
days, especially in the old days.
Right.
There are a lot more now, of course, but
Right,
really
that's true.
working with this great female team has really brought a whole different sensibility to a lot of things. So it's been really great for me.
Well, I've been doing it for about 12 years, and it's no walk in the park. Sometimes it's fun, but 90% of the time it's not.
John will learn the hard way.
Well, I'm sure glad I didn't say that.
Now, you've been writing songs for decades now, and that still comes to you when you sit down and you say, I have to write a song, and it comes from that place.
Well, in the case of this new song, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, and here again, the rules for songwriting is that there are no rules.
Mhm.
It can come in any way. It can be divine inspiration, which just kind of comes sweeps over you and you regurgitate it out. That's in the absolute ultimate best of all circumstances. Or it can be like hard work, where it's like a lot more on the craftsmanship side than the inspirational side. In this case, when I was out in Colorado over the summer. There's a guy named Joe Henry, not the country singer Joe Henry. This is another guy. He's an author and a poet. He wrote some lyrics for John Denver and a few other people. And he and I lived near each other, but we had never collaborated. And we ran into each other and he said, man, I always wanted to try to write a song with you. He goes, I've got all kinds of lyric ideas. And I said, all right, let's give it a shot. And he had the idea for Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, but he actually thought we would write about them, making it kind of biographical.
Right.
And we toyed around with an idea. I tried to come up with something and it wasn't really clicking for me. And then months went by, literally that was July. So months went by until really February. And I wanted to write something and I didn't really have much going on. I looked through my files and I saw his lyrics. And then it clicked. I said, it's not about them. It's a metaphor for something larger. And I used them I wrote the song based on that. But I had to step away from it before I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work for Joan Rivers, and she had this just stacks of jokes, things that she wrote, things that she thought, things she never used, and she just sort of put it away. Do you do that with songs? Do you have like song lyrics or song pieces that you've written, you keep it somewhere and think, I'm going to get back to that one day?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be pretty old school and keep it in a journal or a book, and I kept journals over the years. But now I've been completely, I've adopted the technical revolution. I've got an iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it's in if I'm driving and something comes to mind, I'll just pick it up. I hit the voice memo button and sing something, and I've got all sorts of things like that. And then I do have a lot of lyrical ideas and things that I keep in various files on my computer.
Well, I'm going to offer you some advice. Sorry, I'm going to offer you some advice with songwriting because I think you shoot too high. When you write a song like Family Man, or You Make My Dreams Come True, you can't forget an anniversary or a birthday. You've set the bar pretty high. So
Mhm.
I think you should write songs titled Sometimes I Don't Listen When You Talk to Me. And how about do you need anything from the grocery store? Because that's more, then the bar's set pretty low there. That way you can just forget a birthday once in a while.
Well, I think in my case, it would be more like, can you buy this for me at the grocery store? I think I have to go in that. See, already we haven't even started collaborating yet. We already have a problem.
That's right.
We already have a creative impasse, and we haven't even started. So,
So what comes first for you? Does the lyrics, the music, or just willy-nilly, however it comes?
well, you obviously weren't listening when I said there are no rules for
Right.
songwriting.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just
No, I'm serious.
with you because you're a guitarist, but
It
you would
doesn't
think
matter.
it doesn't matter.
No, honestly, it can come in any way. I mean, it can be from a snatch of a conversation you hear. Maybe you read something in the newspaper. It could be a set of chord changes or a groove, a drum beat. A lot of times when I get stuck, I try to do different things. I'll pick up a guitar in a different tuning that might inspire something, or I'll program a drum beat into my digital recording system, and that might get me going. So it really, there are no, like I said, there's no rules.
I want to ask you a question about your memoir. I thought you had some very interesting things that were just so unexpected, and you were so honest in it. Like the fact that you had this relationship with Hunter S. Thompson. I mean, how random. But that's a guy who would make you snort cocaine out of the barrel of a shotgun. I mean, a person, not you. How
Mhm.
do you survive a friendship like that? He's pretty pushy when it comes to the drug thing.
Well, I wouldn't say we were friends. I would say we were neighbors.
Oh,
We were
okay.
literally neighbors. We still have our house out in Woody Creek, and his widow has turned his house into a writer's retreat. But literally, if you were to drive out our lane across the road, you would drive right into his driveway.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you a quick funny story. When I first met Amy, my wife, when we were just actually just getting to know each other, we were looking for some property, and she had found this piece of property in Woody Creek, and she said she wanted me to come out and see it. So we met the real estate agent out there, and it was literally a little ranch with a horse barn and a little tiny cabin. And the cabin had a metal roof, and we were standing there just kind of chatting and looking around. As you said, we heard shotgun shots. We heard boom, boom. And then we heard on the metal roof, we heard all these pellets. And literally we were standing next to the building, to the cabin. And we went, I knew it was a gun. And I said, what's going on? And he said, oh, don't worry, that's your neighbor. That's Hunter. Don't worry about it. He's fine. And I think he was
He's
trying
fine.
I think he was trying to send a message, but and then in that cabin, inside the cabin was his red Land Shark, the car that he used in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Right.
Was actually in the cabin, but he didn't
Wow.
own the property. He had just put the car in this cabin and put a padlock on it. So we were going to convert the cabin into an apartment, a guest house, while we built our house. And I kept going up to his house and knocking on the door, and he never answered. And the keys were in it, so I jump started it, started the car, drove it up onto his lawn, parked it directly in front of his door, and I left it there. And I knew him for over 20 years, and he never said a word about it.
Wow.
The car just appeared on his property.
Only you can get away with that with Hunter S. Thompson and not get shot. That's amazing.
And we did attend his funeral that Johnny Depp put together, the one where they shot his ashes out of that giant cannon, which I have to say was one of the most incredible experiences. I mean, I think it probably ranks up there with the pharaohs and the pyramids, because it was seriously incredible. So, yeah.
Hey, one of our listeners has a question. Let me just ask you Zach's question. He wants to know, what's the status of the Hall & Oates Jukebox musical for Broadway?
Oh, he must be a real insider.
He's a real insider.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a few years. We've had a few different creative groups working on it, and we've had a few books that were written, but we've never 100% been comfortable with the story. We're not worried about the music. We got the music side covered, but we wanted the book to be more interesting, and we didn't want it to be just this kind of shallow flim flam of a storyline that was supported by all these big hits. We really wanted to have some meat on its bones in terms of the book. So that's where it is. And yes, we have a new creative team on it right now. It is moving forward, but as I've learned, Broadway takes a long time. And then throw in a COVID pandemic into the mix, and you can imagine.
Yeah, my mother's a Broadway theater producer, so I see it from her firsthand that she just she's basically sitting on her couch chewing her nails. She's got no more nails left.
It's a long process.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we're really excited. Let me just plug again what you're going to be doing. Oats Song Fest 7908. 100% of the proceeds are donated to Feeding America. It will be March 20th. That's next Saturday night. Free live stream, Nugs TV, 8 p.m. John's going to be there. He knows a guy named Daryl Hall who'll be there. David Grohl, Sammy Hagar, Darius Rucker, Gavin DeGraw, an old friend of ours. Thank you so much for doing our show. And we're super excited for Oats Fest.
Well, thank you. It's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you spreading the word. And I would also mention that it will not be archived and it will not be repeated. So it is totally live and totally free. It's not a pay-per-view, as you said. So we just want everyone to hopefully enjoy it and snuggle up on the couch on Saturday night. And I will say the music is off the charts. That's a music pun. I did my best to not say it, but I couldn't help myself.
Good. I like that one. Well, thank you so much for doing our show, and we are super excited. I love that it's an experience. It's something that people have to be there for live.
Yes.
People are not used to that, so I think that's really good that you are giving some people something to do on a Saturday night during COVID.
Yeah, we'll have a QR code and a URL that you can go to for donations, and we just hope, as I said, we just hope it raises a lot of awareness for a very, very serious problem in America.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John.
Thanks for having us. Or is there someone else in the room?
I know. Amy in your head, probably. Well, all the women in your head.
She and I have melded at this
That's
point.
right.
Well, she's been in his head for 25 years, so she's been there for a long time.
Yes, exactly. Well, thanks, guys.
Have a great night. Bye.
Isn't he charming? Isn't he terrific?
That dude was my soundtrack to my childhood.
Yeah, right. A lot of hours.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, we've spoken to him before. We spoke to him with the he was performing, I think, at, I want to say, Madison Square Garden or someplace like that. And when the memoir came out, and way back in the day, he's always working on something. He always has some great projects going on. But I love the fact that this Oats Song Fest 7908, again, we'll put it up on all of our social media, but it'll be next Saturday night, March 20th at 8 p.m.
Can't wait for that. That does sound really good. I mean, I can't wait to see Kev Mo. I can't wait to see Sammy Hagar. I mean, a lot of people.
It's a good team.
See. Yeah.
So some other breaking news today that I wanted to get to before before our show is over. Did you see that J-Lo and A-Rod broke up? I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah, it's not a surprise though. I mean, we were talking about this a couple of months ago, that we're surprised that they're still together during COVID, locked in a house.
Well, we had heard that they'd gone to therapy. Not just her. Jennifer Lopez had done an interview with Allure magazine where they said, how's your relationship going? She's like, you know what? It's a struggle. It's tough. She was honest about it. She said they had gone to therapy and they were working on their relationship and working on, themselves and that kind of thing. But what I thought was interesting was it wasn't just a regular, it's COVID, we spend too much time together, it's over. He was cheating on her. How do you cheat on Jennifer Lopez?
I mean, was he doing it actively now?
Yeah. So, all right. So there's this chick from a reality show on Bravo, Southern Charm. And she, how you probably don't know, but on Bravo, once a show is over, there's always a reunion. And they sit the reunion and they all yell at each other and they kind of talk out of school. So one of the things that was said during the reunion was that she was cheating on the guy that she had hooked up with on the show.
Is she hot?
Yeah, you will think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's your kind of hot.
Is she Jennifer Lopez hot though?
No.
Okay.
Nobody is.
Well,
Literally nobody is.
That's a hard ladder to reach, but
she's a reality show star, so of course she's not
Okay.
as hot as Jennifer Lopez. No, but that's not what it's about. Because if you remember, don't you remember what's his face? Elizabeth Hurley was cheated on by Hugh Grant with
Mhm.
that prostitute who
right.
was
Allegedly.
no, he's admitted to it over the
Oh,
years,
okay.
who was not as beautiful, I should say. I mean, everyone's beautiful in their own way. I'm not going to judge a prostitute. Sex workers are super cool and some of them are awesome.
Mhm.
But it's not a question of, it's just like when you heard that Hugh Grant was cheating on Elizabeth Hurley, you thought, oh, well, with another actress. And then you found out, no, it was some random, not glamorous, regular looking person, like a
Mhm.
regular person. So that's what this, I mean, this is like a regular person who ended up on a reality show. So she's a little more attractive than most people, put it that way.
Mhm.
But so you would find her attractive at, like, if you went into a bar and you saw her sitting there, you'd be like, oh, hot chick.
Mhm.
But if you saw Jennifer Lopez walk into a room, every other woman there would
The
just be
room stops.
invisible. The room stops. I mean, I've been in a room with Jennifer Lopez before, and it is like God has walked in. I
Mhm.
shouldn't say God because that's sort of sacrilegious, but I mean, like this light, this energy, like this beauty, and she smells good, and she just, when Jennifer Lopez walks into a room, you are well aware she's in that
Mhm.
room. So, anyway, so they're at this Bravo reunion, and somebody outs her and says, "Oh yeah, you were cheating on this guy that you were with that famous MLB player, that famous guy who's." First they said he was married, but then they were like, "Okay, he's not really married, but he's with somebody really famous."
Mhm.
So the implication was that it was A-Rod, and then somebody said, "Oh well, you went to Miami to see him," and we know that that's where J-Lo and A-Rod were living at the time.
Right.
So it was kind of like the people that were there and the fans kind of sussed out that it was probably A-Rod. Well, then they looked on Instagram, they saw A-Rod suddenly liking a bunch of her photos and admitting to slipping into her DMs, and that they were, according to somebody in his life and somebody in her life, this allegedly, that they were like totally sexting, that they were like getting on their
FaceTiming.
phones and FaceTiming and just like, oh baby, that kind of stuff. So even though he wasn't, she said she never went to Miami.
Mhm.
So let's say she never went to Miami. She was still on FaceTime, doing it
With
with
somebody
A-Rod.
who's
Right. While he's
jacked up with somebody
engaged to
else.
Jennifer Lopez, slipping in her DMs. I mean, this is according to Page Six, and now Us Weekly has confirmed it.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is the big story of the day. I feel like, I don't know. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Jennifer Lopez can't find a man." It's like they were together for 2 years. That's a good relationship. That's successful. 2 years.
In Hollywood, yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, 2 years is a long time for some
But how
people.
many times has she been married?
Three. I want to say 3 or
Mhm.
4.
Yeah, and what's my rule? If you're married more than twice, you're broke.
Well, she got married very young.
And I think she's broke.
Let me see. Hang on a second. Let's see how many marriages she had. I know she was married to that one dancer.
Mhm.
Yeah, 3 marriages. So Chris Judd, Ajani Noah, and Mark Anthony. And remember, and that's who she had her kids with and stuff. Remember, she was with Puffy for years.
Mhm.
They never
We'll
got
call
married,
that
but
marriage. We'll call that one. So that's
she was with
more.
Puffy longer than she was married to any of the other, except for Mark Anthony. She was with Puffy for years. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so
I'll
I'm
be
not
honest with you.
surprised.
I don't really, I don't get involved in other people's relationships, but right from the very beginning, I thought A-Rod doesn't have a good relationship. Look, I'm in New York. He's a New Yorker. I've known women over the years who have claimed to have not just gone home with him while he was allegedly in relationships with other women, but
Mhm.
that this is totally alleged. I'm not going to say this is what people I know that have allegedly been with him have said, that when you are done, you go down a private elevator into a car and he has a gift basket for you, like a little thank you gift.
Nice.
Yes, that is what I've heard from women here in New York. That's sort of the rumor here in New York. Whether it's true or not, I have no idea. But very nice. Imagine you have a one night stand, you get like a parting gift. I love that.
It's like when you when you go on the Tonight Show and you get a bag when you leave.
Right, exactly. I mean, you usually one night stand, you end up with herpes. So it's nice that you got a little lotion and some, some nice face cream. It's good.
Yeah, I love that he buys in bulk.
Right.
And he put
Exactly.
an elevator in just for you to get out.
Can you imagine like that's your personal assistant and that's your job to put together the baskets for his women? You've got a closet full of them.
And to get them out.
Right.
Call me in 2 hours. Okay.
They have a whole protocol. Yeah.
Yeah. You call
He
me.
goes
then
into the
get her out.
shower. The assistant comes to get you. It's a whole protocol.
Yeah, it's just like the movie Arthur, where the butler
Right.
comes in there and kicks you out, makes you go home. I love that. But no, I'm not surprised. I mean, I was surprised when they got engaged.
Yeah.
I said it wasn't going to work out. So no, I'm not surprised at all.
I knew when they canceled the wedding twice,
Right.
you know, and they kept saying it was because of COVID. If you want to get married, people have been getting married during COVID, no problem. They just are not having big weddings.
Do it on Zoom. You can, if you want to do it, you'll find a way to do it.
Right. And the thing is, you know, if you're Jennifer Lopez, you've already had the big wedding. You don't need that.
Right. You don't need to wear white. We know.
Well, no, it's not about wearing white. It's about having a big giant. If you really want to marry somebody, you just go and do it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And people who get married for the third time and they're famous like that, they do that, you know, go to Italy type of wedding and
Right.
get married and shoo all the helicopters away and things like that.
Right.
So, yeah. But it is going to be a big story over the weekend. So can't wait to see what comes out about it.
Yeah. I think people are going to be having the conversation is slide into someone's DMs, flirting over DM, and maybe even like FaceTiming, having like a little fun session with somebody. Is that cheating? Of course it is. I don't even want to, I wasn't asking guys as a, you know, I didn't really want your answer.
Oh, thanks.
It's cheating. Anything you wouldn't do in front of me is cheating.
During COVID, though, when you're never leaving the house and you're not going to be hooking up with this girl ever.
What do you think Chatterbait is for? What do you think porn is for? Go do that.
Okay,
Go do OnlyFans.
So if a guy is on Chatterbait, is that cheating?
No, because that girl never wants to meet you. This is different. This is somebody who is interested in having a relationship with him. And in order to seduce him, she's showing him stuff. That's very different.
So the difference is she knows who he is and she can look him up.
The difference is she also wants a relationship. When you go on Chatterbait, they don't want a relationship with you. They just want your money.
Right.
Pay them and shut up.
So, but if the girl doesn't know my name and I'm just a checkbook, then that's fine.
Right. If your name, if she only knows you as, you know, are you for fish 69, then fine.
Boy, that rolled off your tongue very easy.
It really did.
Oh, wow. That's a whole nother show of why you know so much about that website, why you know people don't have their real names. There's a lot going on. And that you never give me an answer, you just laugh. So there's way too much going on.
What else you got going on in your life there?
There's way too much about Chatterbait.
Speaking of chat, is our chat working tonight?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you go on it?
No, because I can't do it from here. You're the guy in charge. How come your shirt's not buttoned?
You can you can go on it too.
Or will you go on it?
Too. I got 35 things going on over here.
All right, so I'll go on it and I'll see.
That's what we discussed for the past 3 days.
I know, but I want to talk to people if they're chatting with us.
Well, then that's what we talked about for 3 days. You had a question from a fan. I thought that was how you got it. That's why I didn't even go on there.
No, they sent me a message some other way. Yeah. I mean, I see my thing says stream chat, but I don't see any chats on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Welcome to the chat room.
Okay. See, I haven't even pulled it up.
I've chatted. I don't see other
Okay.
people chatting. So yeah, I think that's for you to see.
No.
Because you're in charge.
I'm not in charge.
Oh no, I see. Okay, now I see users in chat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anyway, we are up for this. So if you have a business, we're totally up for this.
Okay, what are we up for?
Under a new 5-year deal, Detroit-based Rocket Mortgage have renamed the MSU Spartans. The basketball team
Yeah.
is now to be known as the MSU Spartans presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Oh, we are. Yep. The Cooper and Anthony show presented by Pepsi. Chatterbait.
Or whatever, and they have, every time you say that basketball's team's name, you have to say MS Spartans presented by Rocket Mortgage. It's brilliant.
I love that. The Cooper and Anthony radio show sponsored by, sponsored by? What's brought to you by?
Presented by
Coke. Presented by, I don't know. What do we like? Lowe's.
Presented by shoes. Presented, I don't know.
Right. Presented by, what shoe stores are even in business anymore? Presented by Nordstrom's.
Yeah, we'll do anything you want. But yeah, 5 years.
Wow.
If they go to the Final Four, the whole time the announcers are talking about them for the next 5 years, they got to say the MSU Spartans presented by Rocket Mortgage.
We'll take Rocket Mortgage. The Cooper and Anthony show presented by Rocket Mortgage. There you go.
We'll take that.
Hey, a lady.
I don't think they'll do that, but we'll take it. How many apps are out there? There's a gazillion apps. We'll take any name. We don't care. Fine.
Let me ask you a question. When we were talking to John Oates a little bit ago, did I get off with him too quickly? Because I feel like the conversation was over. I felt like we were supposed to have. We were supposed to have 10 minutes with him, and we actually went a little further. I didn't want to. I knew we had other interviews to get to. I was trying to be nice.
No, that was because we were 20 minutes with him.
Okay, right. We were supposed to have 10 minutes with him, so I just felt like we were taking up too much.
Yelled at?
No. I just feel badly. I feel like I just sort of out of it wasn't out of nowhere. I felt like the conversation came to a natural end, so I just said thank you very much.
Yeah,
I didn't want to take up any more of his time.
I didn't want to bring up another question and take it any longer. So yeah, I was feeling the same thing.
Yeah, I felt like. Yeah, we already overstayed. We said 10 minutes and we got 20 out of him. And I know that he had other interviews lined up, and that's so rude because you hate being the person waiting for him.
Right. Yeah, especially when he had a time limit on it. I didn't know.
No, he's doing live interviews.
Well, I know that, but I didn't know we had a limit on it. I didn't know we had just 10 minutes.
Well, they asked us how long would you like them for, and we said 10, 15 minutes, and they said they were like, yeah, 10 minutes is good.
Okay. Yeah, but we've never paid attention to that.
I know.
But no, I think he was having fun, so there's no problem with that.
Okay, because my guess is he's not used to people just out of nowhere being like, "Okay, thanks, John." Like, you go now.
No, you got to understand. This dude's been doing interviews for 50 years.
That's true. Okay.
He's like he said, he was expecting a laid back Friday night type of.
We're not laid back.
No.
There's nothing. I have no chill. There's nothing laid back about me whatsoever. I've never had any chill in my life.
No, I'm the one that said, dude, women are a pain in the ass to work with. So
right, yeah.
There's nothing fun. So
okay, I just want to make sure because I feel bad now.
No, we should have said thank you for coming on the Cooper and Anthony show, presented by Chatterbait.
We did forget that part.
Yeah, we should do that from now on just to see reactions.
Presented by Chatterbait, OnlyFans, and Pornhub.
Thank you for coming on. And
thank you for coming. Got it?
Yeah, see, we just got to say that.
That's our motto.
Just to see the look on their face. So the next time we have the eye doctor on, we're going to say
just lots of sexual puns.
Just, whenever anybody we have on from now on, it's going to be brought to you by Chatterbait.
We should see how uncomfortable we can make people.
Right. And we'll read commercials for them. Chatterbait, where this week the special is
brought to you by Anal Lube.
John, what do you think about Chatterbait? I don't know.
What? You've never heard of it?
I don't know.
Let us tell you all about it.
Yeah. If you've seen his wife, he hasn't seen it.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't.
She's drop dead gorgeous.
Of course she is. When you're a rock star and you got a wife like Amy Oates, you don't need anything else. Yeah.
I mean, you got 50 million records you sold. Come on. I mean,
right.
And his bank account, they said went up $10 million in the past 2 years.
Oh, wow.
It's just crazy.
Because people find their music again. It gets used in TV shows and movies,
While you make there was one song, and because I told my son he was going to be on, and my son's like, I don't know who that is. And then I played one song for him, and he goes, oh, yeah. That's from TikTok.
There you go.
It's a big TikTok song. So, and it's the number one song, you make my dreams. I mean, it's used on every TikTok thing there is. So,
right.
And now we're probably
that's what happened when, remember that dude that got on the skateboard who was drinking the ocean spray to the Fleetwood Mac song? I mean, Fleetwood Mac were like, wait a second, why is this album suddenly selling out in 2020? We wrote this album in 1977. Why is it selling out now again?
Yeah, every other video on TikTok has that song, so it's probably blowing up.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
All right, let me hit.
Well,